a Raleigh man at one time. He drove around the countryside with a team and caboose loaded with all kinds of stuff. He enjoyed his work. So did most of the Watkins men and the Fuller Brush men and the rest of them. There are still a few around, but it's not like it used to be. Most people were glad to see these traveling salesmen. They brought goods that were hard to get locally and news of what was going on in the next town or county. I suppose modern transportation is what did most of them in. People can get what they need whenever they want now. But if you want to sell things and can find a product people can't get easily, there's still room for the old peddler concept. Gordon Jaeger is proving that. About 5 years ago, Jaeger was a marketing man looking for something to sell. He met a fisherman up in the Yukon who could catch fish, but had an awful time selling them. Well, Jaeger figured maybe he could sell fish. He lined up a truckload of frozen salmon from the west coast and looked around for some place to sell it. Well, he picked Vegreville, a small town about an hour east of Edmonton, for test marketing. Vegreville has a weekly newspaper, so Jaeger put an ad in it, stating he would be in town the following Saturday with frozen salmon at $1.99 a pound. Well, when Jaeger pulled into the parking lot that weekend with his load of fish, the place was packed with cars and trucks waiting for him. He sold 3,600 pounds of frozen salmon in 4 hours. He figured he was onto something, and he was. Last year, Jaeger's High Arctic Fish and Seafood Company sold more than 4 million pounds of fish and seafood to people right across the prairies. He has 10 big semi-trailer trucks on the road all the time, and 8 more are on order. The trucks are veritable seafood supermarkets, and the people in the 500-odd towns they visit from Alberta to Manitoba love them. Jaeger opened a new fish processing plant in Wetaskiwin, a small rural city an hour south of Edmonton, this winter. He plans to start an American operation in Montana next summer, and to expand his Canadian marketing into Ontario starting in May. It's a pretty simple marketing system, and it works slick as an oyster. The trucks pull away from Wetaskiwin loaded with about 7 tons of fish and seafood. Everything from lobster tails and king crab legs to ocean perch and cod fillets. There are usually about 65 kinds of seafood to choose from, and it comes from all over the world. Jaeger says his stuff is fresher than you'll find in most city supermarkets because he goes through such a high volume it never stays in the freezer long. While the trucks are on the road, they're restocked 2 or 3 times by a supply truck that comes to where they are and loads them up again. The trucks are driven by married couples who share the driving and selling. Most have grown-up children, and they say it's just like going on a 6-week vacation with pay. One fella did mention it's important you get along with your wife because you're together day and night for 6 weeks. Basically what they do is just what the old-time travelers used to. The head office advertises in the local papers what day the High Arctic truck will be in town, and when it gets there, the people gather round to buy and visit. Most of the customers would have to drive 100 miles or more to get to a seafood store in a city, and even then the choice wouldn't be as large. It's a real treat. Jaeger says he'd probably sell a lot more if Canadians and especially Westerners weren't so hooked on red meat. He's getting around that problem by giving out recipe sheets to his customers. He's printed a recipe book, too, and another one is on the way, a 700-pager at that. Jaeger says the key to his success is the traveling store idea. None of the towns his trucks visit are big enough to sustain their own seafood store, but there are enough customers to make it worth dropping in every 6 weeks. The other thing that makes his business fly is what makes every other good business successful: customer service. If you have a complaint, he'll give you your money back. He's even given people their money back for fish they bought from somebody else. With High Arctic success, maybe we'll be seeing a whole new breed of traveling peddlers. I think that would be kind of nice. I'm Noel McNaughton.